Why are words of comfort such little comfort? Well, it's because they are often designed to comfort the person delivering them. Watch all the way through to the end of this video when I suggest how you might respond to these well-intentioned but hollow words. I'm Jo McRogers. Welcome to Grief Support That Works. Please like, subscribe, share, turn on the notifications bell so that we can let YouTube know that we are doing grief differently. When we are grieving, we often feel shut down on automatic pilot. And thank goodness for this in order to get through the earliest days of grief. But unbeknown to us is that behind this numbness, our emotion receptors are wide open. So when phrases or words are offered to us that just don't resonate, we end up in this state of discord. I know they mean well, but that was, and then you fill in the blanks. That was offensive, insulting, hurtful, or just bullshit. Tell me, how would you finish that sentence? Let me know in the comments below. What we are experiencing in these moments is the difference between intention and impact. Intention is no doubt important, but at some point, the impact overrides intention. The intentions are meant to offer encouragement. But what we now know is that what grief needs more than anything is a presence. Any phrases of comfort that minimize, deny, dilute, or draw conclusions about how we should be feeling or coping will have a negative impact upon us. Humor me while I rant. He is out of pain. They can rest now. They wouldn't want you to be sad. God needed them. You can try again. Oh, you have other children that you need to be strong for. Well, you did have them for X number of good years. Be strong for your parents. Be strong for your mother or for your father or for your other siblings. Oh, everything happens for a reason. One day this will all make sense to you. Time heals all. You are still young enough to try again. And then there is any sentence that begins with at least. Oh, at least he got to walk you down the aisle. At least you know you can get pregnant. At least you got to say goodbye. At least has no place in grief comfort, as its message is that you should only be grateful instead of sad. At least your mom got to be at your wedding. Well, that's true. But that doesn't antidote my sadness that she didn't get to watch me become a mother, or for any of my kids to get to know her as a grandmother. Okay, rant is over. Which one of these were spoken to you? What can you add? Which platitude have I missed? Let me know in the comment section below. All of these phrases are conclusions that others have drawn about our personal grief. And while it is well intended, it is no wonder that the impact is negative. You and you alone are entitled to draw conclusions about your own unique grief. Now, I know that I am a self-professed grief snob. I know that I wouldn't let any of these phrases slip from my mouth. I have been on the receiving end of them, and I know just how false they feel. But I also know that until I learned better, I uttered probably every single one of these phrases, believing that I was offering heartfelt support. And I further know that until I did my own grief work, I didn't know what else to say to people. We are guided by our past, and I do extend grace to all of those who are still held by the confines of their own unmet grief needs. The notion that time, space, and companionship to grief is what's needed is a relatively recent concept. And in a society that is grief averse, we don't often discuss what grief authentically means. So instead, we all fall back on saying what was said to us in a sincere yet dishonoring moment. This is one example of why I suggest always let's do grief differently. So if you are the griever and this experience of impact over intention finds you, how do you navigate this? Well, the answer is that this becomes a highly personalized decision, but there are two principles that I want to suggest. The first principle is to look for the teaching moment. I always feel guilty asking the griever to do more work. It's a ridiculous ask. But if you want to receive a different type of support, we sometimes need to ask for it and to guide it. The second guideline is to do a bit of a cost-benefit risk analysis. What emotional cost will you experience and for what gain? Both of these guidelines can change hourly, so it is very tricky. Here are a couple of examples of how this might be configured to help explain myself. Example number one, you take your car for an oil change and the mechanic innocently asks, "Oh, where's your husband? He's usually the one who brings the car in." And you tell the mechanic that your husband died after a short battle with cancer. The mechanic responds with, "Oh, I am so sorry. At least he is out of pain." So guideline number one, is this a teaching moment or is this a duck and cover moment? Do you feel compelled to teach about grief or even about your own grief in this situation with the mechanic? And then guideline number two, cost benefit risk analysis. Do you feel you could say something like, "True, but that doesn't change how much I miss him"? Would you benefit from this statement, or is the emotional cost too much and you just need to say thank you in the moment and get out of there? Only you will know what is right for you in that moment. And example number two, your mother-in-law is not messaging you after you have experienced the loss of your baby or child. She feels she is giving you space and that you will ask for help if you need it or are ready for it. So guideline number one, is this a teaching moment or is this a duck and cover moment? Well, your mother-in-law is likely going to be in your life for the future. Does she need to be taught how to support you in your grief? And then guideline number two, cost benefit risk analysis. Is this the day or the conversation to have in this moment? Do you feel you could benefit from letting her know that you would appreciate her checking in on you because her silence just feels like she isn't at all acknowledging your loss? Do you have the emotional bandwidth to have that conversation? Or is this a conversation time to enlist help with? Or to know that another day would be better for you? Would you gain from this conversation in this moment? Again, only you will know what is right for you in this moment. The response is highly personalized. Please share any thoughts in the comments below about these two guiding principles. And please let the knowledge that impact surpasses intention guide you when you are making personal decisions about how to navigate these words that diminish or deny your own grief. My personal and sometimes somewhat selfish wish is that every one of you would become your own grief ambassador, and even then a grief advocate in our society. But I need to honor my own words. Only you will know what is right for you in any given moment. And for that, I send kind thoughts, kind words, and a kind heart. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.